Hello and welcome to NC Debrief on News Central. Our focus today is one the World Health Organization (WHO) insists is one of the most effective ways to ensure child health and survival. I'm talking about World Breastfeeding Week. It is an annual celebration held from August 1 to 7 in over 120 countries to encourage breastfeeding and to improve the health of babies around the world. The theme for this year is Protect Breastfeeding, a Shared Responsibility. How is breastfeeding a shared responsibility? We'll also be discussing why some women choose not to breastfeed, even knowing its importance. What also are the conditions that impact on breastfeeding habits among women? I have two amazing guests here who will be joining us to keep us abreast with all that we need to know about breastfeeding, and together we will milk this conversation. Stay with us. Good to know you're still with us. If you're just joining us, we're discussing breastfeeding. For this conversation, we have Jane Ogoye. She is a mom blogger and is the founder of Fab Mom NG. We'll also have Yetunde Bamidele Aremu join us virtually. Also, a mommy blogger and breastfeeding advocate. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us.
A pleasure. Thank you for having us.
All right, let's talk about, the basic, Yetunde, are you with us? Let's confirm that first.
Yes, I am. Hi, I'm here.
All right, good to have you as well. Let me start with you, Jane. Remind us again what the benefits of breastfeeding really is.
Okay, thank you very much. So breastfeeding has enormous benefits for the mom and the child. Some of them include it helps the mom prevent ovarian cancer, what's it called, osteoporosis. It helps reduce that condition. It also helps the mom recover, because once a mom has her baby suckle immediately after birth, it helps the organs, her organs, the womb and everything to, keep going back to the, ideal position. All that shifted when she was pregnant. Aside from that, it helps with bonding. And because breastfeeding contains a lot of antibodies, it does help in preventing, a lot of childhood communicable diseases that a baby could ordinarily have come down with.
Okay, that's just a little bit of what experts say
it has enormous benefits.
Comes with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Okay, Yetunde, let's come to you. I mean, there is a need to talk about breastfeeding, and the World Health Organization has dedicated a whole week to this conversation. Basically, I want to know from you, what are some of the factors that impact on a mother's decision to breastfeed?
First and foremost, I'll just say that the first factor that will impact a mother's decision is the kind of support system she has. And support can come in various ways. There's support from the family, from the partner, the support from the society, support from government, support from the workplace. So support, support, support. And, if we're going to be talking about support, how can we encourage support? I always advocate for reviewing our laws on maternity leave. How can the government put laws in place that can create an enabling environment for breastfeeding? In the workplace, what kind of support is available for when a woman returns back from maternity leave? In the family system, who are the allies? Who helps the mother out? Does the mother even have information, the right information on how and what to do with the entire process that is involved in breastfeeding?
Okay, so staying with you still, Yetunde, are there any downsides to breastfeeding before we expand the conversation around the support system?
There really aren't any downsides, honestly. It can be difficult at times. It can take a toll, which is why the emphasis is on supporting breastfeeding moms. The only time where breastfeeding is discouraged is if there is a medical condition. whereby, the mom, there's a medical condition that they have to prioritize the health of the mom over breastfeeding. This could happen with someone who has a PCOS, someone who is on some medication for certain diseases, or even maybe a mom who has had cancer and some other things, or who is treating cancer. So, except for all of these medical reasons, most of the time there really isn't any downside to breastfeeding.
Okay, let me come back to you, Jane. What are the benefits for mothers who breastfeed? Because some of the downside also include physical pain for the mom when the child is trying to suckle. There is others that also look at the diet that the mother consumes. We know that the reality of COVID-19 is such that some families have been negatively impacted financially. What's your take on that?
There is this common saying, when a mom is breastfeeding, they say you're eating for two. You're feeding two, and in most times, if you're a mom who had multiple births, it means you're feeding for two or three. But whatever the case is, a mom should just eat a normal, healthy diet, which includes lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, a balanced diet. So whatever it is, your regular diet is, maybe you love rice, you love yams on a good day, or plantain. Just make it healthy by adding some vegetables here and there, a lot of fruits, because the truth is, whatever you take in as a mom, as a breastfeeding mom, is what your baby suckles, when he or she is being breastfed. So a healthy diet, you don't have to go overboard, like eating very voraciously. So frequent little meals, well, depending on your appetite. So frequent little meals at different intervals. Just make sure you are hydrated. It's very, very important. Loads of water, because I recall when I was breastfeeding my babies, and at some point I didn't know, I wish I knew half of the things I know now, because at some point you go dizzy. So I'll say, for a breastfeeding mom, aside from the diet, whatever it is you'll be eating, you need to always have a bottle of water handy, because breastfeeding does take a toll. We have to be honest. So that's why, in addition to what Yetunde says, in addition to the support around her, the people, maybe the structure, she also needs to help herself by eating healthy, making informed choices, because her baby is also involved, and taking lots of water.
Yeah, you said something earlier about one of the benefits of breastfeeding, including bonding between the mother and the child. But there are been cases, I don't know how rare it is, where the mother is unable to breastfeed the child. And when she manages to, we'll come to that. Let's look at some of the health benefits, if any, for the mother.
Okay, like we did say earlier on, it helps prevent ovarian cancer. It does help her recover fully. It helps with bonding, that is the physical one. It does help with preventing certain ailments, that a child, I think those are the major ones for the mom.
Okay, let's come back to you here today. When we say breastfeeding mothers should consume a healthy meal, that is a given. But aside from consuming healthy meal and, having a robust support system, there are still some mothers who have postmortem depression, and the challenges are there for most people to see. It can be time consuming. It can, take a toll on the mother, like Yetunde have said. What kind of advice would you give to a mother who is facing this kind of challenge at this time?
All right. The advice I would give anyone is, first of all, you have to get information. A lot of people do not have enough information. I mentioned this before. Some people have wrong information. Just like Jane mentioned, you just need to eat a balanced and healthy diet. And again, if you're someone who is still struggling despite your diet, there's some superfoods, that you could take. You could take things like pap, oats, oat milk. I was on an Instagram live recently where I was talking about breastfeeding, and some mothers were telling me things I'd never heard before, like carrot juice, things like moringa powder. So you just need to have the right information, and you find what works for you. Again, I would also like to say that breastfeeding is not, we say it's natural, but nobody actually comes naturally born with how to breastfeed. There's a system to it. You need to learn how to make sure your baby has the proper latch. You and your baby will find a rhythm. You need to learn each other. It's a symbiotic kind of experience. You have a partner. Your baby is your partner. So your baby has to learn how to handle your breast. You have to learn the proper position to put your baby in. So those are all of the informations that I think that the person needs to have at hand. However, at the end of the day, you can always seek support. You have like myself and Jane, there are blogs now, there are websites. Yeah, your health practitioners, your doctor, your pediatrician, reach out if you have difficulties. And depending on your peculiar case, you'll be given proper advice on what to do.
Yeah, the tricky part would be to actually identify that there is an onset of postpartum depression coming on. But we're hoping that ladies, like you said, will go online and seek for the help or look for professionals to help them through that process. We'll be going on a quick break now, and when we come back, we'll be showing you 2 videos concerning breastfeeding at work and how both situations were handled, and then we'll come back to our guests. Stay with us.
Order members, order. Order.
Today, I couldn't. I had an emergency. I have to come to work. We have 2 sessions today, the morning one and afternoon one. And Parliament in 2013, the Parliamentary Service Commission passed that we should have a room, a creche where we can put our babies for breastfeeding staff, members and other parliamentary staff. So, and now as you ask for more women to come into Parliament, you need to provide a family-friendly atmosphere at work. And other companies are doing it in the country. Parliament isn't, unfortunately. This is my 3rd baby in Parliament. I've never done this. I've tried really hard not to come with a baby. But today, I had an emergency. So what was I supposed to do? Miss Parliament and miss my duties just because for a baby. So that's why I just came with her. I knew that I'd stay here for a while. And then later when my situation is better, I could. But if there was a room, a creche or a nursery here, I'd be able to then put my baby.
All right, both videos displayed 2 scenarios. One was in 2019, and the lady was applauded for breastfeeding her child. And in 2018, as you can hear from that, she was sent out of Parliament for breastfeeding her child. So I'm going to go to my guests now, Yetunde and Jane. They're still with me. One of the objectives of WHO is to engage with individuals and organizations for greater impact. So, Jane, my question would be, how can organizations make it easier for employees to breastfeed, especially when they have no other choice?
I think a lot of organizations have to do better in this regard in Nigeria. They should make the workplace very friendly for moms, for working moms. If you have a female workforce, you should expect that they will get married, they will have children. So we should have creches. A lot of organizations are actually, keen into this idea, but we need a lot of organizations to jump on it, because a mom who is not happy, working in an organization that does not understand the fact that she is a nursing mom and will also need support to breastfeed her baby, to nurse her baby, wouldn't give her best at work. So we should have nursing rooms in organizations. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or grand. You could start small, just earmark a certain area in the office where moms can easily jump in, breastfeed when they need to, and then, go back to work, because we need to make it an all-inclusive workplace for moms, for men, for women, whatever. So, and in addition to that, maternity leaves should be enforced for moms. Maybe I'll be biting more than I can chew if I say we should extend it more than 3 months. I do know that in some sectors, 4 months, 6 months, but whatever the case is, women should be giving that, moms, new moms should be giving that.
It's biting more. I mean, if women don't give birth, the progression of the human race is in question.
Yeah.
So it's imperative, basically, that we must make room to encourage women.
I agree with you.
In the workplace,
make the workplace friendly.
Make it friendly.
Because I do know that it starts from when they are recruiting. Once they find out, oh, this one just got married.
That means in another 9 months you might have a baby.
And so
but again, there's the place of competence. It's not like you're doing the woman a favor. She's providing a service.
Exactly.
And when the time reaches for you to provide that,
and you know that in the workplace, women have to work twice as harder to prove themselves.
Yes.
So it's even harder for a woman who is pregnant, and even harder when she puts to bed.
All right, let's go to Yetunde. Data tells us that more than 90% of infants in Africa are currently breastfed, which is a good thing. But then it also shows that supplementing with water and other liquids to breastfeed infants is a widespread practice. So we have the rate of exclusive breastfeeding being low. It is also rather challenging for working mothers to do exclusive breastfeeding. Is it even possible? I'm taking that question to you now, Yetunde. If yes, how?
Oh, well, let me start from the data. The data says 90%, yes. However, the rate of supplementing, like you said, is very high. And the truth is, in a situation where there is an enabling environment, you actually do not need to supplement. Your baby does not need any extra water. You don't need to give the baby any extra liquids. The breast milk itself is composed of every nutrient your baby needs to thrive and survive. Now, can a working mom exclusively breastfeed? Yes, she can. It can be hard, especially because we do not have the infrastructures in place in a lot of workplaces to enable this. It can be rather for me, let me use myself as an example. I had my first 2 kids while I was working as a banker. And it was really tough for me because we didn't have a lactating room or a nursing room. There was nowhere. I used to have to struggle to store my breast milk that I pumped while I was at work. It was just a lot. There was no adequate support. So this is what we're advocating for. I'm with Jane in saying that the workplace has to be more friendly. We have to provide the amenities that nursing mom needs. The end of maternity leave is not the end of the arrival of the baby. The baby is still small. The mother is back at work. We need crèches, daycares. We need nursing rooms. We need where to store the breast milk that we are going to express. So a working mom can exclusively breastfeed. That is feeding your baby exclusively with breast milk. But this working mom will need quite a number of things. They would need equipment. They would need support, like we said, support. And they would need, everything, both on the home front and at work, to make sure this experience is a stable experience, really.
All right, Yetunde, in the interest of time, I'll have to cut in quickly because this is an important question. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought in a lot of dynamics, even for breastfeeding. There's a lot of misinformation going around. The WHO has discountenanced many of them that the transmission of active COVID-19 is possible through breast milk. They've said that does not happen. They even said that a woman who is confirmed or suspected to have COVID-19 can still breastfeed if they wish to, if they follow some precaution. Why does this misinformation, so to speak, persist when it comes to breastfeeding and COVID-19? If you can respond to that in, say, 30 seconds, we'll be very grateful.
I'm very happy you asked me this question because, I had someone who told me they were not going to even get the vaccine because they were breastfeeding. This is part of the misinformation that is out there. People need to do proper findings. I think that we need to do a lot of infomercials, both on the part of the government and on the healthcare sector to inform people that you can breastfeed if you do have COVID, even. And there's another thing you didn't mention, by the way. It has been found out that the breast milk of mothers who have COVID-19 contains antibodies against COVID for their babies. So it's not a bad thing to breastfeed when you have COVID or if your baby has COVID. You just need to follow certain instructions to make sure everything is okay. So yes, misinformation, we need to tackle it, yes.
All right, Yetunde, let's quickly show you this video. It's a sample we did on the streets of Lagos, on exclusive breastfeeding. Here's what some people have to say.
Time to breastfeed a baby should be a year.
For my last child, which is the fourth child, I was determined to breastfeed him for 2 years. But 20 months, I just gave up because it was stressful.
I feel breastfeeding a child for 1 year, it's okay. Whereas some people feel that they should breastfeed their baby for 6 months.
All right, Jane, there is this debate going on about how long it is appropriate for a mother to breastfeed. Especially, we had a celebrity, I think Ice-T or so, who came up to say that even though the child was 5 years old, she's still breastfeeding from time to time from the mother, and he too likes to breastfeed. Let's talk about that. Okay. What is the appropriate length of time for a child to be breastfeed?
Okay, so ideally 6 months is fine. But I always say that your breastfeeding experience or your breastfeeding journey with your child is personal to you. Because ideally, I'm sure a lot of moms would have loved to breastfeed. I do know someone who has a toddler, a 3-year-old toddler who is still breastfeeding. So I think with the right support, with the right information, especially a mom who does not have any lactation issues, nothing like painful nipples, having issues with breast milk supply, she would definitely want to, breastfeed longer. So 6 months is fine. 1 year. So it depends on you. And
all right. Yetunde, your quick thought for those mothers that are conflicted about breastfeeding, what would be a parting thought to help woo them over?
I would say that at the end of the day, I believe that every mom wants to do what is best for her baby and for herself. So breastfeeding is such an experience that if we get everything right, it's still the best thing for you and your baby. And yes, there are options. We've got formula and the rest of it. It's not like if you don't do it, your baby would not thrive. However, even as of today, 2021, no one has been able to replicate breast milk. So
all right,
that says something for how important breast milk is.
Thank you very much. And Jane, thank you very much for coming on MC Debrief.
Thank you.
All right. Before we go, with the work being put out, there is optimism that the target of 50% exclusive breastfeeding by 2025 is still very possible. However, let it be noted that while many women have most of the support they need, it's still a struggle for others. And as our guests have highlighted, there are many reasons why some mothers choose not to breastfeed or to do so exclusively. Let's try and refrain from passing judgment on a mother who chooses not to breastfeed, especially for those who tried. We don't know what she has gone through or is going through. Caring for a child is certainly not a walk in the park. Many thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.